I have two shapes, the same dimensions. One is a prism, one is a pyramid, but they have exactly the same triangular base, and they have exactly the same height, so the same dimensions. What we're going to do is figure out how many times we can fill this with water to fill this up. We want to see how the volume of this one relates to the volume of this one. So how does the volume of the pyramid relate to the volume of the prism? Okay, so I'm going to take it apart so it's easier to put water in it. Hopefully I won't make a huge mess like I did with my class yesterday. Hold it over here just in case. Whoa, that was close. Okay, so I filled this one with water. That's the pyramid, and I'm pouring it into the prism. I spilled a teeny bit. Okay, so I know you guys can all see that from there, how far that is so far. So there's once. Think about what guesses you made. Whoa, that's a little bit too full. Didn't allow room for the surface area. Okay, there's two. There's two.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm making a mess. Okay. And here is three. I don't know if you can tell where it ended up. Look at that. Clear up exactly to the top 3 times. So how many of these volumes fit into one of these volumes? 3. So I think Andrew's the winner. Good job, Andrew. Okay, back to our notes. So, this shape is exactly 1/3 of the volume of a shape that has the same exact base and the same exact height. So if we had a prism with a square base and the same exact height, we would be doing the formula volume equals the area of the base times the height, right? But because the volume of this one is 1/3 of this one, how do we have to change our formula slightly? Since it filled it up 3 times, how do we reflect that in our formula? 1/3 area of the base times the height. Same exact formula, base times height, but it's 1/3 of the volume, as we just demonstrated with our filling this prism full of water 3 times from the pyramid. Okay. All right, let's do an example. I'm going to make this one a little tricky. I'm going to give you that length. Do you remember what that one's called? That one is called the slant height, and we use the letter L for it. And I'm going to say the slant height is 13 centimeters. Okay, now this is a square across the bottom. I can tell it's a square because that side is 5 centimeters, and this side is also 5 centimeters, so it's square across the bottom. Okay, so the formula is the area of the base times the height and then divided by 3, because 1/3 is another way of saying divide by 3. So the area of the base, let's do that first, would be a square, so 5 times 5. What's the area of the base? 25 square centimeters. Now do we go 25 times 13? Actually, no. What's the problem? 13 is the slant height, and we need the actual height of the prism, or the pyramid. That would be like going straight up and down in the middle of the pyramid. That's the height we need right there. Is that what we have right now? No, it's not. How can we find that height? They didn't give it to us. How can we find it if they didn't give it to us? Pythagorean theorem. This time, though, we have the hypotenuse is 13. We don't know the height, which is one of the legs. Do we know the other leg? I didn't draw this very well, but it should be like right in the middle. So how long is the other leg going to be if it's right in the middle of that square? 2.5. Okay, so we have one leg is 2.5. We don't know the other leg. We call it h because we're actually looking for height, right? And then the hypotenuse happens to be 13. So we have to go through and square the numbers. So 2.5 is 6.25, and 13 squared is 169. We subtract the 6.25 from both sides. That gives us what number? What's 169 subtract 6.25? 169 subtract 6.25. Anyone have that? 162.75? Good. Now we need to actually find the h from that, so what do we do? What's our last step? Square root that number. So what's the square root of 162.75? Give me at least one decimal. Calculators up maybe if you found it. Square root of 162.75. 162.75 square root. Okay, Jonathan says 12.8. What do you think? 12.8 centimeters. So a little bit different than the slant height of 13. Not a lot, but a little bit. It'll make a difference. Okay, now we have to do the volume. So the volume is the area, or 1/3 the area of the base. So 1/3, 25 times 12.8. The easiest way to do 1/3 is to just take this stuff, multiply it together first, and then divide by 3. Okay? Take this stuff, multiply it together first, and then to do the 1/3, just divide by 3. So I'm going to go in my calculator. 25 times 12.8. Divide 3. Everybody show me on your calculators what you get. 25 times 12.8 divided by 3. Good, I've got 2, 3 answers, 4 answers. Who else has this? You should all be finding it on your calculators or your iPods. 25 times 12.8 divided by 3. 25 times 12.8 divided by 3. Okay, I'd really like to have everyone's participation, but I know sometimes no matter what I do, there's some of you that still never help me out. So 106.7 and its volume, so it's cubic centimeters. Is that what you guys got? Good job. Okay, that one took a little bit longer. The other two are going to be fast and we will be done. So a cone is the same shape as a prism or a pyramid. I keep saying the wrong words. Since a cone is about the same shape as a pyramid, we really just use the same formula, except instead of writing it as a capital B for the area of the base, what's the area of a circle? Area of a circle, pi r squared. So we have 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So it's really the same formula, it's just we've inserted the formula for a circle in there. Okay, let me see what dimensions I've done on this one. So we're going to do a radius of 8 inches and a height of 15 inches. Did I give you the slant height this time or the height? The height. That's good, right? We don't have to find the slant height, but we could find it if we needed to. If they gave us the slant height and we needed to find the height, we could just use Pythagorean theorem again. Okay. So volume is 1/3 pi. Radius squared. What's the radius? The radius is 8. We have to square that. What's the height? What's the height? 15. Okay, we're going to start by leaving the pi on the side. So the first thing I want you to do in your calculator is 8 times 8 for the 8 squared, or you could just use the squared button, times 15. 8 times 8 times 15, and then for the 1/3 we divide it by 3. Everybody find that for me. 8 times 8 times 8 times 15 divided by 3. Everybody get that answer. 8 times 8 times 15 divided by 3.
320.
I have one person with it. Who else is trying to get it? Good. 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 Good job. Okay, those of you still trying this out, that's great. Let's check the answer. Would be 320, but we didn't yet multiply the pi, so we would have to leave the pi on the side, and it would be inches cubed, right? Now, sometimes we want to actually leave that answer in terms of pi, and sometimes we want to multiply it out. So the next step is to take your 320 and multiply it by your pi, 3.1415926. Or just by the pi in your calculator. Dakota, you've already got that? Melanie, you've already got it? Anybody else trying to get that answer for me? Joy? Dakota, why don't you tell us what you got?
I don't have it yet.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so we're multiplying 320 times pi. Okay, Dakota, go ahead. Okay, did you use the how many digits of pi did you use? Okay, that's why you have different number than I do. Okay, so I got 1005.3 inches cubed because I used a longer version of pi, so I get a little bit more accurate answer.